So, this is a system that each body has been given a television arrangement, radio, television, all arrangements are there fitted in the man. So, it is only the power of master that doesn't let us enjoy it. Otherwise, those people who work at the mental levels, they use it. They go this astral traveling, and also they walk on water. They can fly in air, levitation, what is it called, and also they can shorten themselves up to like a fly, and they can expand themselves very much, and also you keep this talk with you. Or they can make themselves very light, they can make themselves very heavy. So many competencies to do the things, whatever they wish, convey the messages or receive the messages or reading of the minds of other people. So these competencies, abilities are there. Those people who work at the mental system, all these things are also there at the discretion of the initiates even. Because they get higher contact with the higher powers. These powers are lower powers. These are found only as byproduct. That we are not work for these, but these come without any efforts that we come with in contact with the higher power. Then the lower powers automatically they run after us. But these powers are not allowed to come in contact with us because these are from this world, which is of negative power, which is negative. So anything which is from negative world or negative power, that is in its effect negative, harmful. So if one asks for a kingdom, then for those to whom God is merciful and graceful, He will not give him a kingdom. But to that one He will give maybe a little less in the world, maybe poverty, as a blessing. That one is blessed. There was a saint, Namdev. He thought of that he is to go to some distance place, and that he has to take a bundle of the clothes on his head for washing and for other coloring purposes, and if there is some horse, and that he may use it for riding and also carrying the load. When he was thinking, then a man was passing by. He was some authority from the king, and he make them down, go down. And in the way where Namdev was there, his mare did give birth to a child, and he called Namdev, and that he should carry the child of the mare on his shoulders, and that he may follow to his house. In the olden days, there was such like a system that the government people could use services of any person of the public without wages. Then Namdev was thinking in himself that God, I did not ask for this purpose, the horse, that I asked for riding on it, not carrying it. So then he found the answer that either for riding or for carrying you are not to ask for. It is his work that he may give or he may not give, but you are not to ask for it. So then he thanked him that he will not have any desire, and whatever is there good for him, he believes that God will give him automatically without our asking for, without our prayers. That was the reason that I used to tell to the people, even in Western countries, those people who believed in prayers. Then I asked them that why do you pray? Why do you pray? To whom one is to pray? To whom we do not know, or who is very big, great, but has no connection with us, no sympathy with us. And that we have to pray to him. As a beggar is praying for some alms from some person, or a subordinate goes to some officer or an administrator and says some things, request or prayer that one has to do. But a child doesn't request the father or prays to the father, but he demands from the father. And it may be that this is the fault of the child, that the child demands. But the father knows himself, or mother knows herself, that what is the need of the child. And what is the need of the child, that is given automatically, felt automatically by the parents, and without demand that is fulfilled. So this is the law where the love is working. Love is working. Then is there any necessity of saying prayers? If Father God is connected with us, and He is our Father, and He is so loving, so graceful, so merciful, and already in a mood to shower everything to us, then why that we should pray to Him? It is only that we should have a loving contact with Him. If there is a prayer, that is a prayer for this development of loving connection with Him. That please let me have a loving connection with you, that my thoughts, my intentions, my inclinations, which are outside and keeping me away from you, that you may attract me, and that I may be connected with you. That may be the prayer. And when this prayer is heard, and it is admitted, accepted, then there is no need of any prayer. So, and this prayer is also not really needed, because if we have got an intention to see Him, to meet Him, then He is already there to accept us. It is only our weakness that we are to fulfill this weakness of ours with His help. That our weakness may also be helped by Him. He is already fully aware of His responsibilities, the loving responsibilities. He is 100% actively doing this loving service. It is only our weakness or shortcoming that we are indifferent to Him and not care for Him. And This difficulty is removed by the grace and blessings of God through a saint or a master, that then we are to go along with those practices that it may develop. And then there is no need of any prayer. When we are doing Simran and when we are connected with the light and we are connected with the sound, no need of anything, no prayer. This is the best prayer, connection with Him. That is the only thing needed. Because any prayer which we will do, who is doing the prayer? Mind. And some words which are there from intellect. Intellect and mind can pray only to negative power. Negative power is there. And these negative things can only pray to negative power. So those people who pray to God, they really do not pray to that one, merciful one, great God, but they are praying to the negative God, negative power, because that is very hard, that is very strong, and that is really not merciful upon us. And we have to pray, we have to request day and night that there may be some leniency, there may be some mercy, but still it is not accepting any of our prayers, any of our things. Maybe if they have lived from the depths of our heart, then it may be due to our great demand that the merciful God then admits it, the higher power of God, that we have got single-minded attention. That single-minded attention works, and that even the universal mind begins to work, and it is accepted. So many people had been using such like methods, as I have told some time back, that it had been a system that if you have only one desire in your mind, continuously for some days, they used to keep it for about 40 days. That for 40 days all along, you have no other desire, only one desire. That then desire becomes real desire. Because first the desire is to be inculcated. And when that desire is going on, then it goes on stronger and stronger, and real desire. That first the mind is not accepting that desire. There are so many other distractions, and the mind is to be controlled from this side and that side. After some days, you will find that desire is then embedding itself in the mind. And then that desire becomes stronger and stronger, stronger and stronger. And when that desire is so strong that it has totally occupied your mind, totally, and it is really a burning desire at the top, and all others have been burned away or totally subsided, then that desire will be fulfilled, whatever it may be. So that has been practiced. That is at mental level. This is also at mental level. So this is we may call prayer in some kind of that prayer is also admitted when it is really single-minded attention, done with single-minded attention, that is when it is burning in our heart, really at the topmost burning desire, that when it occupies whole of the mind, then it is heard. Otherwise the prayers are also not prayers in any way. because these are all at mental levels. But when we come in contact with the God power, then we are not to pray for anything. Then we are only to keep connected with it. Then everything it will do what is in our favor, in our benefit, and we are not to worry for anything. And if there is any desire, and we find that there is something we want, and with that, when we are worried about it and we sit in meditations, then that desire goes in our spiritual setup. And sometimes when we say that our thoughts are running in meditations, so there are thoughts running in the meditations, but then those thoughts are not only thoughts, then those are big powers which are working, and those thoughts then will be taken up by the master power, and then there will be great, there will be some value of it, that these thoughts will be considered by the master power. It will not be left unattended. Because then those thoughts are not at the mental level, then those go higher up as our burning desires. So either then, if those thoughts are not good, those will be burnt away. There will be no more. If there is that these thoughts are to be fulfilled and can be fulfilled, and it is not harmful for the initiate, if these are fulfilled, then these are sometimes fulfilled. So that is at the discretion of the master power. But those thoughts are not neglected by the master power. Those are considered in all favorable ways. So really what is needed, that is the connection with the God power, free of the mental emotions and free of any thoughts or any intellectual wrestlings. And that when we are just free and then meditate freely, then you will find after half an hour meditation or whatever it is, that all your problems and all your worries, they are no more. They are no more. That the prayers will create more worries. Because as you go on praying, those thoughts will go on stronger and stronger, more embedding in you more and more. That when we think of something, then we are adding impressions of that thought. And if we are trying to remove that thought, even then we are thinking of that object, and that thought will still go on going on adding more impressions on the mind, and mind will be more mentally fixed and burdened with those thoughts. So any prayers which are there in the mind or in intellect, those are burdening the mind negatively, and also the intellect. But when we go out of the mind and intellect and we are only meditating in soul, then the soul fills the mind with its own spiritual gifts, and it washes away all what is mind. So mind will not work as mind and intellect will not act as mind, but mind and intellect will be taken up by the soul, and soul is connected with God. Then the wisdom of God and competency of God and will of God, that will begin to work in our mind and in our intellect and through our senses, and then we will become a conscious co-worker to the divine plan, and what we will think, that will be thought from God. What we will work, that will be the work of God. Hands will be used by Him, our hands, but these will work in that direction in which He likes to work, and our feet will only walk or run to that direction, in which direction He wants that we may go. So by and by we will become a good and receptive and such like instruments that we are completely in His hands, that He is the doer and we are not the doer. And what we do, that we do not do, that He does. As the Lord Christ could say, that it is not now I, but it is Christ who is in me. I think it is not me. Huh? It is Father who is working in me. So I and my Father are one. So he who has seen me, he has seen the Father. So then the Father is saturated in us. So we become a good receptacle to His work. Now in ego, we have kept Him away, that we are doers, and we have occupied the doer's seat, as if a passenger sits on the seat of the driver, then the driver is not able to drive the car, and the passenger is not able to drive, he doesn't know. So then all the things are then stopped over there. But if the passenger leaves the seat of the driver and takes its own passenger seat, and then the driver who is waiting for the that seat being spared, he will find it. And then he will begin to act, because he is always ready to act in his duty, his responsibility. And then we are accepted as He likes, and He works in us. And then everything is okay. So any wisdom or any techniques or any cleverness that is a direct hindrance to our successful life of completeness, total surrenderance to Him, that I know that I can go down, and I can say that I will go down, but still I cannot say that I can't go down, I will go down. So I will have to feel that with the help of that power, if it wills, and then I will be going down, and that power is there, and each step which I take, that is in Him and with His power. And when we will lose our such like doership, then we will feel also the doer that He is doing. and that anything which was impossible for us, that became possible with his doership. Because there will be great difference between the doing of a child and doing of a great, competent and skilled one. That when we will be doing in our own ego, that I will do it, then it will be impossible mostly for us that we may do it or we can do it. But when we will surrender ourselves that it is not in my power, it is not me who has ever been able to do or who can do or who is there, that there is any competency given to anyone that one can do. That is a great fault. We are biggest defaulters. This is the crime, we can say. Crime on ourselves. Sometimes we commit crimes or hardships or some troubles to others. This is the trouble to self. That when we claim ourselves to be doer of something, or we accept others to be doers of something, that some will do help to us, or other will do some harm to me, or I can do some harm to other one, or I can help to someone, or I can help myself, or I will do this, or I can do that. That is the biggest difficulty which we are creating for us. And when we lose really this doership, then we are complete. Then everything is done. Because then the driver is there and he can drive. And the child, if it is occupying the seat, and child is obstinate, it doesn't leave the seat, then the driver is helpless. And if any action is done by the child, that will be drastic for him and for the vehicle and for everybody. So therefore, all what we are doing, the doers, false doers, the ego-filled people, they are doing horrible, terrible things for themselves. May they be kings, may they be very wise people, may they be very, very great philosophers, orators, very nice people. But if they are doing it in their ego, not that God is working in them, if they are working in themselves, then everything is very horrible, awful, dreadful. So it will be very, very full of worries, problems for us. And we will be creating more and more and more. So we have to learn this, that we are nothing and we can do nothing, and there is no power in us, and this body has given no competency to do anything. It is the power which is working in it, that it can move, it can act. Otherwise there is nothing in it. If it is that power is withdrawn from it, then what will happen? It will fall down. It cannot stay any longer because it has no powers to stay, even not to act even, but even to stay. It will have to fall down like a stone, any lowest place that it may find, and it will remain over there. And if we do something in ego, that will be striking against another stone or a rock, that we may injure others and break ourselves also, break our own heads, injure our own lives and injure the others. So we cannot do anything good to anybody. Mother cannot do anything good to the child. Child cannot do anything good to the mother. When the mother says that I will live for you, I will die for you, I will do everything for you, then she will kill you. It means she is ready to kill you. When she says that I will do something for you, I will live for you, I will serve you, I will do all this, then you may find that one is the biggest enemy. So when one says that it is only the God power and I can do nothing, I have been given a privilege that I have given you birth physically by God power, but it was also not my work that I could do it. It was arrangement of God, and He had done it. And further also she has got no powers, no competency and no privileges that she can do anything good to you. It is only that you are under the protection of God. Protection of God, and may you be protected by Him, and may you be served by Him, and may you be saved by Him. As the mother of the saint boy who was sent at the age of 9 out of the house, that when boy was very much anxious of finding the kingdom of his father, when the father was not ready, that he had got another wife, and this boy threw, and his mother were discarded and thrown out of the house. So there was practically no chance. Then the mother told that, all right, if you have such an anxiety, then go out in search of some saint, find this connection with God power, and then develop this connection, and after developing this connection, then that almighty power of God, pure power of God will be able to help you. And what is not there in your destiny, or whatever it is, He can change, He can make, unmake everything. And then she let him go in this age of 9 years. Not that she is responsible, but she knew that even in the house with her, she is not responsible for him, and she did not feel responsible for him. She was already feeling that he is under the guidance and protection of God. And if I am being used as an instrument to serve him, to protect him, that is God's will. It is not she cannot claim it that she is his mother. So God is the mother, God is the father, God is the brother, God is the sister, God is the protector, God is the elderly one, God is the younger one. Everything he is, and all actions which he wants, those are done maybe through a dog, maybe through a snake, maybe through a cat, maybe through some bird, maybe through a man, maybe through a king, or maybe through a public or beggar. But nobody is responsible to anybody. It is only God who is responsible to everybody. And if we feel responsible to anybody, or if we feel somebody responsible to us, that is our biggest fault. And due to this fault, the world is there suffering. And hells are there, or heavens are there, and sufferings are there, difficulties are there, problems are there, hatreds, enmities, quarrels, wars, and all these family troubles and all other troubles, these are there. So when this doership ends, then all peace, harmony is there. Then in each one there will be love. Snake will just enjoy with us. We will enjoy with snake. And lion will be enjoying by our side, and we will be by his side. And we can play with him like a cat, and he can also make such like beautiful voices like a cat. We will be running like that. So there will be no difference between a lion and a cat, or a snake, or a pet dog, or pet animals, or our brother or sister. Then everything will be so sweet, so nice, so friendly, that nothing can be of any trouble to us. In Adhikant it has been described that there is such a wonderful competency and arrangement and management and control of God power that anyone who is most weak, most dejected, rejected, that he can be lifted, elevated to be the highest one. And those are in ego, very, very high, egoistic, those can be dropped down like an insect of the drain. And that the lamb and a lion can drink water side by side on the stream. And the lion is not to think of the lamb, and lamb is not to consider the presence of the lion, that if somebody is present by his side. So this is the consideration, that we are not to be aware of presence of anybody else. We are to be aware of presence of the one who is a controller, who is there in us and around us and in everybody and around everybody, and immanent in everybody, controlling everybody, working in everybody, and that we are to be considerate of him. So then we are complete. Then nothing can happen. The ice, snow will not bite us. The heat will not make us some thing a little uneasy, or anything of the world will not be able to disturb us. and we are not to worry about anybody. Everybody will be sympathetic to us, loving to us, serving us, and really in our favor. And we can sleep peacefully anywhere without any problem. And everywhere we will find ourselves in His most loving and peaceful care that this is to be developed. So this development is to be done. These meditations have been given to you for this purpose. These thoughts, why these thoughts are there? Now those things are not there, but still their thoughts are there. Why? This is the weakness of the ego. There's ego in us. If the snake is there, or a lion is there, and we are not to see the lion, we are not to feel the lion, we are not to feel the snake, see the snake, and we are not to think of him, even we see them. There's nothing. Then why thought of anything? Thoughts are strong and they are impressive upon us, and we cannot leave them. Although those things might have occurred some years back, or these are only imaginary, we are only imagining, proposing some things. The mind is building castles in air, which is called. And those are also very strong. Those imaginations are also so strong that we cannot ignore the imaginations, and that our mind may be stable. So that is the difficulty, that is the weakness. And we have to come out of this weakness. As long as we have not come out of this weakness, we will be weak. And we will be just trembling with everybody, from everybody. Even a little insect or some thought of something that there might be something outside or here or there, that will be also very much disturbing us. As a child is very much frightful. When the mother is there, the child is quite easy. But when nobody is there in the room and child is alone, and then child is just like dead, feels like that it is so terrible, he will die, everything will eat him up. And that is his mental weakness, that he feels like that. But the presence of the mother, then a snake may be there, lion may be there, but child doesn't feel, because he doesn't know what is snake and what is lion. Because he has got full confidence in his mother, that mother is there. So that is the idea or state of mind we are to inculcate in ourselves, that God is with us. And we do not forget Him, we do not leave Him, and we feel Him, and we are always with Him, and we have such a constant embedment of our mind in Him that never we fail in keeping His presence. Really. Not imagination, but really, that we may feel and we may act in Him, and then everything will be okay. Everything will be peaceful, and we will enjoy our life of completeness. As we feel in our own self that I will be able to do it, I will do like that, I can do this, I can do that. So similarly, everything is possible in God. So we can do everything in God. But if we have got the remembrance of God, sometimes very seldom we feel that don't worry, God is there and He will do it. But very seldom. Otherwise, nobody feels presence of God and His competency that He can do anything. Sometimes some things happen not due to our belief, but Master Power works in its own ways. And then we are very much wondering that really Master Power has worked very strangely, wonderfully, and in some ways that there cannot be any hope of any protection or any help. But it did help us, it did come up to the occasion. But if such like happenings happen just due to Him, and if we expect and we believe in Him, really, then will not it act like that? Then even it will act like that, because then we will attract Him and we will accept Him and He will be there and He will act also. So only our ego is to be thrown away, driven away, so that He takes charge of our body, mind, intellect and everything, and He becomes the doer, and then we are acted upon by Him. Lord Krishna was made the charioteer of the chariot of the King Arjuna, and then he could win the war of Mahabharata. So similarly we can also win the war with His powers, with His help, not by our single-handed, weak, very meek, very deplorable, our actions or competencies. No, it is complete. Stopped. No more. The subject is complete now.
Master, sometimes like you were telling a story that the mother was responsible that the child was so bad. So, is she responsible or not?
We have to talk at so many levels. At all levels we have to talk. At mental levels the people are also to be trained. But at these levels the people are to reach. Until they reach this level, the lower levels are also to be kept in most suitable ways. So that at all stages we are not going in opposite direction, in a favorable direction. As we can take the example that as long as we do not reach our home, we have to take help of all those vehicles which is best suitable. But when we reach home, then we are not to take help of any vehicle. Then we are in the home. So when we are to work as yet with the body, mind and intellect, and we have not been able to find ourselves embedded in God, we will have to find the helping factors which are there working in the mind, intellect, and other persons, and that these are the situations are kept as peaceful, as good as possible. So everything is to be kept as best as possible in proper order. But that is the final stage, that when we come in contact with Him, then we believe in His doership, then everything is okay. In Adi Granth, there is a hymn, it has been told over there like that it is, if we are to find the light, then go inside and find the inner light. There's no need of outer light. If we are to awake ourselves, and that we are in a satsang, where we are in praise to God. And if we are to be attracted or attached, not to the world, but to the holy feet of the Master. And so many other things, the disciplines he has told, all good disciplines, that what we are to do. And in the end, he says that to the one who has surrendered himself totally to God, and he has accepted all doership of God, then for him no discipline is required, no considerations are required. Then he is feeling all free of all these considerations and responsibilities and disciplines that has been given at the end. So we have to start with the disciplines and reach that state which is then beyond that, all this mind and intellect disciplines. These diaries have been given to you for the purpose that till you have become soul and God, and that you are complete, no failure is possible, and that you are complete in yourself. You are to make yourself controlled, keep controlled, and that have a good discipline. That these helping factors are there to help you, that you reach quickly, easily to your goal. And when you have reached, then all these things will fall down automatically. These will not cling to you. Now these are clinging to you, and you have to keep them away with efforts, your efforts. Then you will not have to put an effort, these will automatically fall down. These will have no power to grudge to you. Then it will be all freedom and salvation in this living life of body. You have got something. Okay? All right.
You wanted to say something that you may not speak about the experience. And also,
This is the difficulty with the people, that they speak of their inner experiences and then they do not find further progress. So try to keep your inner experiences on light and sound in yourself.
even family connections also.
Even to the husband and wife, even both are initiated. I have been telling that the best connection is between the husband and wife. They should also not disclose to each other, because this is directly connected with God and Master power. You can tell to the Master or in his presence but not to anybody else. Then it will be a loss to you. It will be held up, and then you will have to suffer. So this is a little thing. You can control it, but if you do not control it, then losses are very much. So try all these disciplines which have been given to you at the time of initiation. All such like things are told which are to be kept in mind. So if you could not, try it now. Also tell others.
Also, please remind us that you may not look into the eyes of others. I feel that some people may not know it, may not have heard it even.
Oh, yes, to other people who are not initiated, especially.
But most, always you said, even not with initiated. You said very strongly.
But it will be very difficult, very difficult. But try to see into his third eye, that will be better, not directly into the eyes. But try to keep connected with yourself as God, with God, and then you may go on little speaking. Especially as per Indian system, it has been told that when we are eating, then we should not talk anything. So we should eat with God, eat God with Simran, that this food is all godly food. This will create very good effect upon your mind. That food is having a very great effect, that if it is positively charged with Simran when we eat, then all along we are positively affected, and our meditations are very much useful, fruitful. Otherwise, at other times also we should try to talk as less as possible. We have got a habit and that we want to be important, and we always will like that if there are 4 or 5, 6 people, that I should be the only one who should talk at the top. Others should only be listeners. Then we feel that I am a great one. This is also due to ego. So we want that others should listen to us and we should talk. That is also negative. You see, all this system which is going on in the world, the spiritual life is just the opposite of the worldly life. It's just the opposite. This world is all 100% negative, and the other thing is all just the opposite of it, which is positive. So we will have to change, a great change. And then we will be a really great one, really blessed. So talk less, eat less, sleep less. These 3 disciplines are to be there. Then other things will also be following. And when you will be connected inside, these things will come easily and automatically. You will not eat much, you will not talk much, and you will not be able to sleep also much. You will feel more active. All right? I think